Yes.
Klatt did say at the very beginning, and we didn't play, but he did say the top teams in the SEC are the best in the country. He did say that. I mean, so I guess he's talking about the middle of the road and the rest of the SEC that they just pound their chest all the time, and they really have no reason to because they haven't accomplished anything.
Well, I mean, I'll just say this. When the Big 12 and the Pac-12, what in the hell have they ever accomplished? I mean, since Pete Carroll left USC, I mean, what in the blue blazes have they ever done? I mean, you know, they think they made some great hire with Lincoln Riley at USC, and Lincoln Riley and USC were lucky to escape the vaunted Oregon State Beavers, you know, with that powerhouse program.
Chris Potter sends us a message saying he's not lying on the SEC.
But, you know, I mean, there probably is some validity to some of the schools riding the coattails and puffing out their chests. But, I mean, I will say Texas A&M, if they were still in the Big 12, would probably be close to the top of that league. I mean, I don't know. They probably wouldn't be winning championships as far as I'm talking about national titles. I don't, you know, but again, it is what it is. I still think that when you look at it, the SEC West is far and away the toughest conference in all of college football as far as division. I mean, I don't think it's even close. I mean,
Patrick Davis Wright chimes in and says, notice he left out the record of SEC team versus non-SEC teams.
Well, of course he did. I mean, there's only one bad team right now in the SEC West, and I'm a little bit surprised. I thought they would be better. But let me preface it by saying I thought Zach Calzada would be healthy, and I thought Zach Calzada would be the quarterback.
Right.
Okay? That's not something I saw coming. And then Finley has already gotten hurt himself. And if you had told me all this, if you had told me in Atlanta, by the way, Auburn's going to get to the SEC play against Missouri and they're not going to have TJ Finley or Calzada, I would have said, holy Toledo, they're not going to be very good because you got to have a quarterback. That's the biggest thing. I mean, even if Auburn's defense is pretty decent and it's been up and down so far, even if you got Tank Bigsby, even if you got a lot of experience along the O-line, and that's before we knew Nick Brahms was retiring. I mean, there's just so many things. And then heck, their second center's out for 2 months. Tate Johnson.
Yeah.
I mean, Auburn's roster was not strong enough in the beginning to sustain and be able to absorb these injuries. They needed to stay healthy, and they have not. And so they're probably the one team in the West that you can say is not very good.
Right. We're going to let you hear from Ben Leard a little later in the show. He had an interesting podcast with Justin Hokanson. So some interesting comments there, and we'll let you hear what he had to say about that a little later in the show. But 256-576-4977 if you want to get in and react to your thoughts on Alabama traveling to Arkansas. Are you nervous? Are you, is this one of those games that has you uneasy feeling if you're an Alabama fan heading to Fayetteville, just based on how much improved Arkansas is? And that's a credit to Sam Pittman if you are feeling a little uneasy about this one. That's a credit to what he's done there.
And I'll circle back to something in the Big 12, too, and this is talking about injuries.
Yeah,
we saw him for a quarter light up Alabama. Some say, well, if he'd have been healthy the whole game, Texas would have won. We don't know that. That's potentially, yes, that could have been true. And we could also say if Quinn Ewers were healthy, that they probably would have won at Texas Tech. They lost in overtime by 3. Quarterback injuries can drastically alter a season. And for Auburn especially, I think it has. And, I mean, I'll just be honest. If Zach Calzada had been healthy, I think going all the way back to all this, after we see all this subterfuge and stuff like that, and, and Harsin playing everything so close to the vest, if they had figured out that Calzada were healthy enough to be the guy, I think what happened was they knew he was injured. He had the surgery and missed spring, and it's kind of like Brahms. Brahms tried to give it a go, and they started figuring out in mid-July this might not work out, and it didn't. His knees just didn't respond. Got a funny feeling about halfway through the summer they were nervous about Calzada too, because the whole thing made no sense.
Right.
I mean, when you're hearing all these practice reports, well, he doesn't look good, and he's third, and it's
you
not
never
even
heard his
close.
name mentioned a lot at all.
And I mean, no disrespect, but what we've seen out of Robbie Ashford already, he cannot throw the football very effectively. I know that Zach Calzada was up and down last year for Texas A&M, but good Lord, he was better than Ashford throwing the football. He would have been better than him. So there was something amiss the entire time. And so this is just – it's unfortunate for Auburn. They're in this boat, but they just I guess if you want to criticize Harsin and his staff, perhaps they made the wrong choices in the transfer portal. Because I will say this about that. The quarterback room, the shape it's in now is Harsin, okay? They went and got all these cats.
They went in and got Zach Calzada. They went and got Robbie Ashford.
This is the example of how the transfer portal can be a disaster, okay? Like, sometimes the transfer portal can be great.
Look at what Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin have been
so far,
able
Lane
to
Kiffin,
do.
They're doing great.
Yes.
I mean, we'll see if it continues, but so far, so good.
Shane Beamer getting
so far mediocre.
Spencer Rattler.
It's been all right.
Yeah, kind of
average. This is when it can go bad. Like when guys get hurt out of the portal, or if they just underperform and you're not as talented as you need to be. Because let's not misunderstand anything. Robbie Ashford is a great athlete. He was a great baseball prospect coming out of Hoover, but he never played at Oregon. He didn't play at all. And then David Johnson on our sister station, the Recruiting Blitz, I had him on yesterday talking Ole Miss, and he made a point that I hadn't forgot all about. He said, don't forget, Robbie Ashford was dropped by Ole Miss. He committed to Ole Miss first, but see, when he did, he fit because that was when Matt Luke was head coach and Rich Rod was the offensive coordinator when they did so much quarterback run. And remember, John Reese
that's Robbie
was the
Ashford's
quarterback.
strength. Yeah.
And so
that's true.
As soon as Lane Kiffin gets there, miraculously, no. We're going in a different direction. We got to have somebody that can throw the football. So that's kind of where Auburn is. They're stuck.
All right, we're not stuck because we're going to get a break in. When we come back, we're going to talk some high school football. Jeremy Perkins, our team of the week, the Austin Black Bears, joins us next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
They canceled Himsey on that accident on Greenbrier in front of the Mazda Toyota plant. That one reported with injuries. Got eastbound Highway 20 near State Docks. Couple of wreckers on the way. That one reported with injury. Still may have some problems around Moores Mill and Chase. Had a broken utility pole out there earlier. Still may be making repairs on that one. And we got concrete spilled on the road in Decatur, Old Moulton, just off the belt line. Do your methods to lose weight no longer work for you? 7 different hormones can make it impossible for you to lose weight. Find out with a free quiz at 2030huntsville.com. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Take it to the house this football season with the Alabama Manufactured Housing Association. If Alabama or Auburn returns their first received kickoff in the second half for a touchdown at a home SEC game, one lucky fan will win a $75,000 down payment towards the purchase of a manufactured home from an authorized AMHA dealer. Don't miss your chance to take it to the house this season and win a beautiful manufactured home. Register to win today at auburntigers.com/take-it-to-the-house or crimsontide.com/take-it-to-the-house. Certain terms and conditions may apply. To learn more, visit alamha.org.
The Huntsville Sports Commission, a not-for-profit organization, is driven by the love of sports. And we're excited to announce several events already planned for this fall, including the Gulf South Conference Soccer Championship, the AVCA Fall Collegiate Beach Championships, the NCAA Division I Regional Cross Country Championship, and the Running Lane Cross Country Championships. For the love of sports, the Huntsville Sports Commission. Find out more at huntsvillesports.org.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunners Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunners Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunners Landing's club repair shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner, unmatched in the North Alabama area. It is Gunners Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslandinggolf.com. That's gunnerslandinggolf.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Attorney Tommy Sinyard on behalf of Sinyard Law, and again proud to be a sponsor of All Things Football here on ESPN Radio. My son Bart and I started our own law firm July 1 and are very proud and excited to be bringing you our 50 years of collective national award-winning injury trial law experience. Check us out on the web, sinyardlaw.com.
Sinyard Law, nationally recognized, locally respected.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Each week, they lace it up. Each week, we'll present our Team of the Week.
Get in here! I got one thing to say!
So it's time for the Bryant Bank Team of the Week presentation.
Indeed it is. Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. And it is time for this week's 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, Bryant Bank Team of the Week presentation. Actually, the real presentation will happen later today, but we're going to visit with this week's head coach coming up now. And this is the third year for our Bryant Bank Team of the Week, thanks to our good friends at Bryant Bank. It just keeps growing every year. But this is the first time that we've been able to honor the Austin Black Bears.
Yes, it is, and they are a red-hot football team right now. They have built a very strong program under our next guest, 13th season at the helm of the Black Bears. They were a perennial state championship contender in 6A, and they've moved up to 7A, and they're building to become a consistent playoff team and then make playoff runs, because that's what he has done, the culture he has built there. Certainly, they had a year that wasn't up to their standards a season ago, but after a very tough start against two very good football teams, by the way, who combined have not lost a football game, the Hartselle Tigers and the Decatur Red Raiders. Our next team, as we said, now 4 wins in a row, including a win, which is very significant for North Alabama when you beat a team from the Birmingham area. They did that this past Friday night, and that's why they are the Bryant Bank 97.7 The Zone Team of the Week, and that's the Austin Black Bears, and their coach Jeremy Perkins has been kind enough to join us this morning on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach, you're with Drew and Scott. Welcome back to the program, and congratulations to your kids on this great stretch and a great win this past Friday night to represent North Alabama.
Thank you very much. It's been a good run so far, and we want to keep it going.
Yeah, Coach. Well, what's been the big the big factor in getting this run going?
Well, I mean, just making some plays that we didn't make in the first couple games. I mean, it's a fine line between winning and losing sometimes, and an overthrown pass, a drop ball, a missed tackle, a missed block, things like that can make a difference. Those are hidden things in a ball game. They can dictate momentum and confidence, and of course, greatly affect the outcome.
Well, and Coach, I think I'm safe to say this: there's not many teams around our state, and especially in North Alabama, that had as difficult an opening schedule as you guys did. Hartsville's a big rival of y'all's. It's a game that's annually played early in the season. It's a measuring stick game for your program. We all know what the Decatur rivalry means to that city, and then of course the Sparkman Senators, and you gave the Senators their only loss, and that was a gut check game, a game that Sparkman led for much of it, but your team showed a lot of guts and tenacity coming back late and then finding a way to win in overtime, which has sort of been the springboard to this 4-game winning streak, Coach.
Well, absolutely. And like I said before, the sports are games of momentum, and when you get it, you're hard to beat. When you don't have it, it's hard to find ways to win. And, we start 0-2. We try to play a tough schedule. We try to do that to test our guys, to strengthen our guys and build them, in the winners. And sometimes you have to go through struggles to gain that strength. You can't do it by just playing easy thing, because you go out and win a game 50-0. How much better are you actually getting?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So we want to stress or put our guys in stressful situations. And doing that helps prepare you for battles ahead and tests that are in the future.
And defensively, this team has been great. You have faced some high-flying offenses. In that Sparkman game, Sparkman had come in, I think, averaging probably around 50 points a game. Gardendale came in last week averaging over 40 points a game. And defensively, you hold both teams well below their numbers.
Oh, we're very experienced in our front seven defensively and very talented. Got a lot of leadership, a lot of character. Those guys are physical. They're tough to run on, and when you make teams more one-dimensional, then you can do a lot of different things to help your back end out a little bit. We came into the season a little bit less experienced in the secondary, struggled a little bit early in the secondary, gave up some big pass plays against both Hartsville and Decatur that hurt. But those guys have settled in and are doing a nice job, and the pressure we're putting up front has improved a lot also.
And, Coach, you've been at Austin 13 years. You guys made a lot of long playoff runs in 6A. This is your 5th season. It's hard to believe already in 7A competition. How has that jump up been? And I know that you want to start making the deeper playoff runs that you did certainly in 6A, and where you nearly got to state title games on several occasions. But how has the transition been to 7A? And I know what you're building toward, and you got a very experienced defense, as you said, is trying to get over that hump. Everyone is in 7A Region 4 because of the matchups with the Birmingham schools. But I think that's part of your rationale for the challenging schedule you guys are putting together.
Well, I mean, regular season from 6A to 7A hasn't been much of a transition. We played a lot of 7A schools as non-region opponents while we were 6A. We played Bob Jones. We played James Clemens. We played Sparkman. We played those guys. Florence has made the move with us.
Right.
So, there was a lot of carryover. The difference is the matchup in the Birmingham region. And what a lot of people don't understand, and in the top classification since the year 2000, the top classification North representative for the state championship game has only been 3 teams.
Yeah, exactly.
Hoover's been in most of them. Spain Park's been in a couple of them, and Thompson's been there recently.
Right.
That's it. And they're all 3 in the same region. So that hurdle to climb in the postseason has been there for
a long
22
time.
years,
right.
21 years now. So and I coached it at Hoover during some of that time. So, that's a hurdle that there's a lot of programs and a lot of teams that have had a hard time overcoming. Every year, fortunately, Region 3 gets the opportunity to overcome that hurdle. We have little positive movements here and there, but I mean, it's a tall task, and we got to find ways to get better and improve our competition so we're more prepared for that.
Well, this week, that competition, you got 4 straight region games to close out the year. It's Grissom this Friday, then James Clemens, Bob Jones, and Huntsville. Just talk about the challenge this week. You come off that big, yes, it's a non-region game, but it's a tough Gardendale team, a talented Gardendale team. Now you got to step back into region play and get refocused.
Well, it's homecoming for us as well, so we got all kinds of distractions. But, the mark of a team that's deserving of winning a region championship and a team that's deserving of making a playoff run is a team that can stay focused amidst all the distractions. Early in the season, and we've talked about this with our team, there was a lot of noise on the outside, but it was negative noise. It was things that y'all aren't very good. All the negativity surrounding losing 2 games and starting 0-2. Well, now it's the opposite end, and where they're hearing a lot of positive noise. Nick Saban calls it rat poison. So the focus of your team has to stay consistent, regardless of whether you're 0-2 or win 4 straight games. And the focus is getting better every day, preparing yourself to be the best player that you can be and the best team that you can be, and respecting your opponents and going out and executing and playing high-caliber football. So we're trying to focus on those things. But we're talking about 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, so who are easily distracted anyway. That's the challenge.
I mean, talk about the challenge that your defense took on against Gardendale, Coach. I mean, this was a fist fight type of low-scoring game. Your team trailed 7-0 and then came back and got the lead, and it was tied at 10, and then your team took the lead in the second half, and then your defense got 5 stops. And that Gardendale team we already talked about averaged 45 points a game. Earlier in the year they had come up to North Alabama, and they won a shootout against James Clemens. But your squad and your front 7 especially controlled the line of scrimmage Friday night.
Well, we took away the run, and their quarterback is electric. He's one of the best athletes that we'll face this season. He throws the ball well, but where he's really dangerous is with his legs. So we worked pretty hard on trying to prepare to defend the quarterback runs, the called, designed quarterback runs. Our defense did an excellent job of doing that. Where we were most concerned is when he would improvise, the pass plays where things would break down and would scramble and take off running, or create an open receiver by guys leaving their man. So we worked really hard on our DBs staying with their man on scrambles, and we tried to keep him in the pocket as much as possible with our D-line. We didn't so much go try to sack the quarterback as much as we tried to make him beat us with throwing the football. And he struggled to do that. We covered really well, and he got really impatient. So he ran himself into trouble sometimes. Now, we didn't sack him a whole lot, but we pressured him. So stopping him was the key.
Austin head coach Jeremy Perkins joining us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. They are the 97.7 ESPN The Zone Bryant Bank Team of the Week. And, Coach, how much did this year's team, learn from last season? The maybe the ups and downs from last year. How much has it benefited this year's squad?
Well, it's tremendously. Experience is one of the most valuable things you can get. So they experienced everything last year. They experienced big wins. They experienced big losses. They experienced tight, close games. They experienced the stage that prepared them for future endeavors. Just like this year, they've experienced a lot, and as you go, you rest on that experience that you can handle any situation in the ball game. The learning curve from your first few experiences to being a seasoned veteran, those first couple you learn so much more than the rest of your time. So, I mean, it's everything that they get to experience is valued and helps prepare them for the next steps.
It certainly does, and it helps also to have a senior quarterback like DeArmond Young, and I know he played well this past Friday. And, Coach, it also comes down to leadership. You talked about the distractions of this week and homecoming, but there's also some motivation because I know this Grissom team upset Austin last year, and I'm sure the players are motivated to come out and kind of atone for that and continue to lead 7A Region 4 right now.
Well, I mean, we try not to talk a whole lot about last year, but they know it. They know we did not play well in this game last year, and Grissom came in and basically whipped us. It left a bad taste in our mouths. I remember it well. They seem to forget it a little bit, but we don't play games for revenge. And last year's game has no bearing on this year's game. It's about going out, starting fast, playing at a high level, executing our offense, defense, and special teams, and competing, play in, play out, and being the best Austin Black Bears that we can possibly be. If we do that, the results will take care of themselves. If we focus on all these other things, what happened last year, what we think is going to happen this year, region championships, or all those things, then we take our eyes off the important things, and that's doing our job to the best of our ability and executing our game plans to as close to perfection as we can. So we want to stay focused on what we're supposed to stay focused, handle what we can handle.
Well, Coach, we didn't mean to add to the distraction by giving you a team of the week this week, kind of piling it on there, potential distractions. But what does it mean, though, for this group to get that honor of being a team of the week?
Well, I mean, you want, as a head football coach, you want your guys to experience all the great things of being a football team. You want them to experience team of the week. You want them to experience, get player recognition. You like those things for those guys because that's the overall experience of being a high school football player. They only get to do this one time. They get 2 to 3 years, and then it's over with for the rest of their lives. So you want them to experience all the bells and whistles that they can experience, but you don't want it to become a distraction or lead towards taking their eyes off the prize.
Yeah, that's certainly true, Coach, no doubt about it. And it's just like when COVID affected so many a couple years ago, I felt bad for those seniors because you don't get a chance to do it over. You only get it one time. They don't restore eligibility like they do in college. And, of course, this is not the NFL level. This is the purest form of football, in my opinion, is high school. And that's why we love it here, and we always want to put an emphasis on local programming in high school athletics. And we congratulate your team. You'll be getting a $500 check from Bryant Bank, our great friends who support high school athletics so much. And again, your schedule sets up. You're playing a 10 straight week. From week 0 all the way through week 9, Coach, and then taking that bye right before what's hopefully going to be a playoff run for Austin. But I'm sure your kids are looking forward to the challenge of playing Grissom and continuing to try to win a 7A Region 4 championship.
Absolutely, and the bye week at the end, we're hoping that's one thing that helps us take the next step in the playoffs, giving us a couple weeks to prepare for that first round playoff opponent as opposed to having a short week. So, we're one step at a time. Grissom Tigers up next.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, thanks, Coach, for joining us this morning. We'll see you later today.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Austin head coach Jeremy Perkins with us. They are our 97.7 ESPN The Zone Bryant Bank Team of the Week.
They are. I mean, they've been red hot. And, I mean, when you play the schedule that they've played and the first 3 teams, have combined 1 loss, and you pull out that game at home against what's turned out to be a really good Sparkman team, Scott, 24-21. That was a huge, I think, stepping stone for them. And then to beat a talented team like Gardendale and hold them to 10 points, and be able to win a defensive battle like that. A team that in Gardendale that has got a lot of Division I athletes, has got 2 or 3 Power 5 level type guys. That's a significant win for North Alabama, and certainly when you look at the rest of their schedule, they have a shot to win a 7A Region 4 championship. And and then it's also got to make Decatur feel good with Jerry Adcock, our good friend, another former Bryant Bank Team of the Week. They've got a chance. They're having a very special regular season right now. So it's really kind of been a renaissance, so to speak, for the city of Decatur this year. Both those programs having very good seasons. And then let's not forget what a matchup this Friday night. I know you guys will be all over it on the Woody Anderson Ford High School Football Scoreboard Show out at J.F. Moore Stadium, but Muscle Shoals hosting unbeaten Hartsville. That's going to be a Donnybrook right there.
Yep, that'll be good. We'll have all that and more on the North Alabama High School Football Scoreboard Show. We'll have all that plus all of our games, and we will preview some more high school football coming up in the next coming days, especially on Thursday and Friday. Let's get that break in. Going to wrap up Hour 1 of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We're getting a wreck reported southbound on the Hudson Memorial Bridge headed into Decatur. Looking at the bridge there, though, it looks like all the lanes are moving okay. Decatur PD's on the way to check that one. And Moores Mill and Chase had a wreck about 1:45 this morning, had a broken utility pole. They're still working on repairs. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. D&L 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Mercury Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, Mercury Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
I'm excited about fall, but I'm even more excited about the falling prices at Kohl's. I went to their Friends and Family sale, and not only did I save an extra 20%, I also found sweatshirts and sweatpants for under $19, cute harvest table decor for 40% off, and great fall styles starting at $23.99. Plus, I earned Kohl's Cash. So if you want more style and more savings this season, get to Kohl's. Select styles, 20% offer ends October 2nd. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Football season is here, and as always, the best place to catch every game is downtown at Humphreys Bar and Grill. Humphreys is celebrating by bringing back their game day football specials. $2.75 Miller Lite, Coors Light, Yingling, and $3.50 Yellowhammer Gold Pints. $4 Fireball shots. Anytime football is on. And don't forget Sunday brunch with Microwave Day. The best place to catch all the games all season long is downtown at Humphreys Bar and Grill.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
From Coleman to Fayetteville and all points in between.
Son, pull the hammer back. Smokey's coming at you in a plain white wrapper.
97.7 ESPN The Zone. This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 256-576-4977. That's how you can join our #1 of Talking Ball. And yesterday, let's see here, where did I put it? Yesterday, Will Anderson had a chance to visit with the media. And take a listen to what Mr. Will Anderson had to say.
You know, Coach Saban always talks about this hateful competitors, and I'm starting to kind of see what he's saying. It's fun. You know, last year, we had a couple of road games last year. It was kind of bumpy, but I think it's really fun. You know, we want fans to leave their own stadiums, and I think the message this week is we want fans to leave their own stadiums, and I'm going to try to preach that all week. But go out there, have fun, do your job, and, make sure the fans are leaving about time halftime come, or at least by the end of the third quarter.
I was going to kind of ask something about that, but do you consider yourself hateful on the field? Is that?
Yeah, I do. I just don't. I tell people all the time the audacity for the other team to even step on the field is disrespectful to me. I tell people that all the time, and I think people ask me what motivates me. I said the audacity for the fans to show up and for the team to come step on the field and play with us. So that's kind of like my own little thing in my head that I go through. So, yeah.
He's talking about his mindset, of course. People are going to turn and twist it and act like he's trying to disrespect Arkansas. He's just talking about his game-to-game motivation and why he plays hard. Because as you've seen in college football, there are teams that don't play hard every game and that lay down ATM and get handled by Appalachian and lose. And so that's what happens. And then they're Tokyo drifting in parking garages and getting suspended for going to parties and just not doing things that you're supposed to do to win. And that's why you suck.
That's why you're going to drop 3 or 4 games this season.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But anyway, if you want to hear the entire Will Anderson interview, if you want to hear the entire Bryce Young interview, head to our YouTube page, WZZN TV. We have both of them up there from yesterday. And there's also Robbie Ashford conversation on there as well. So head to our YouTube page and you can hear the entire and watch the entire interviews. But I thought that Will Anderson one was pretty good because, as you said, it's not about Arkansas. That's that's why we see Will Anderson play at a high level.
Well, we just need
week in and week out
to see Alabama play better on the road, and we need to see more of his teammates take on the same mindset because some of them didn't last year. And you brought up the point already in the first segment of the show about the average number of penalties on the road. You know, in the past, Alabama has done a better job of controlling that and executing, and that's what they need to do. Certainly, though, I mean, it's gotten tougher over the years to play on the road because the SEC is such a deep conference, CLAT, where there's so many, really good football teams. I mean, I can't help it that there's a lot of bad football teams in the Big 12, and there are. I mean, there's some bad football in that league. There's some bad football in the Pac-12. I mean, merciful heavens. Stanford's paying David Shaw $8.5 million a year to win 3 or 4 games a year. I mean, good Lord. I mean, at Stanford education means a lot, but, I mean, you're spending a lot of money to get brained. That's all I'm saying.
Is the top half of the Pac-12 and the top half of the Big 12, not top half, let's just say the top 3 in the Pac-12, top 3 in the Big 12, right now, where would they slot into the SEC? Just the top 3, not or even the top 2. USC and I'm trying
Oregon,
to think,
I guess.
Yeah, and then probably Oklahoma and
remember
Oklahoma State maybe or Baylor.
Oregon lost 49-3 to Georgia. It looked like a scrimmage out there on a Saturday in Athens. And I'm sorry, after watching Southern Cal against Oregon State, they don't want none of this smoke. Your head coach already is Old Yeller. He didn't want it. He wanted no part of it with Boomer Sooner. And then Boomer Sooner went out and lost to Kansas State, who Tulane beat, and this was not in a Scholars Bowl or a law debate or whatever the hell it was. It was a football game. These teams stink, okay? Oklahoma and Texas. I know Texas nearly beat Alabama, but, ifs and buts was candy and nuts. Then they turned around and they lost to Texas Tech. Okay? You got to be consistent. You got to be good. And, again, Alabama's used to everybody being their Super Bowl. It's going to be Arkansas' Super Bowl. This is going to be a crazy atmosphere in Fayetteville on Saturday afternoon, no question about it. That's what makes the SEC great. It's not the Big 12 or the Pac-12, thank the Lord.
All right, we got to get a break in. We got to come back, and when we get back in hour 2, Ben Leard had some strong comments to say about the Auburn football program. We'll eavesdrop on that podcast with Justin Hokanson when we return.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
I'm excited about fall, but I'm even more excited about the falling prices at Kohl's. I went to their friends and family sale, and not only did I save an extra 20%, I also found sweatshirts and sweatpants for under $19, cute harvest table decor for 40% off, and great fall styles starting at $23.99. Plus, I earned Kohl's Cash. So if you want more style and more savings this season, get to Kohl's. Select styles, 20% offer ends October 2nd. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
And a report of a wreck southbound on the Hudson Memorial Bridge headed into Decatur. Decatur PD says there's nothing there. Head southbound on the parkway just south of 565, a report of metal cylinders in the road. Not finding any problem there. Moore's Mill and Chase had a utility pole broken this morning. Still got restricted traffic there because of repairs. Popeye's tender, juicy, hand-breaded chicken would be perfect for tailgating. Score 5 pieces for $6.99. Popeye's University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeye's Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Wednesday, expect another afternoon full of sunshine. High temperatures going to top out in the lower 70s for the afternoon. We could also see gusty winds as high as 25 miles per hour. Heading into your Wednesday night, a clear sky. Low temperatures going to be back on the chilly side, upper 40s expected for the overnight. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
NFL Thursday night, the Bengals hosting the Dolphins. Cincinnati a 4-point home favorite. The Saints facing the Vikings in London Sunday. New Orleans plus 2.5. The Falcons a 1.5-point home underdog against the Browns. Braves and Nationals again tonight. Jake Odorizzi on the bump for Atlanta at minus 210 on the money line. Washington at plus 170. The over-under at 8.5. Josiah Gray getting the start for the Nationals. College football, number 2 Alabama a 17.5-point favorite at 20th ranked Arkansas Saturday afternoon. 61 the over-under. Auburn a 9-point home underdog against LSU. The over-under 45.5. Red hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwhiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwhiners.com.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And last week at this time, going into the Auburn-Missouri game, the talk wasn't about what the Auburn offense needed to do to beat Missouri or defensively what they needed to do to stop the Tigers. It was more about the outcome of the game and how that would affect Brian Harson's future. This week, I think everybody knows that this road ahead is going to be tough for the Auburn Tigers, and that Harson's future may already be decided.
You were talking about last week going to the Missouri game,
I'm talking about last week going into the Missouri game, that we were talking more about Brian Harson's future than we were about the game. This week, I'm wondering if Auburn can focus more on the game than Brian Harson's future, because I think his future is pretty much already decided at this point. And if you look at the schedule, you can sit here and say, well, you got that, you got the LSU game, then you got the Georgia game, then you got the Ole Miss game. You got 3 mountains to climb, and his future pretty much already looks like it's decided. Do you think there's a small chance that this week the Auburn may look a little bit better because they can focus more on playing LSU versus hearing the talk of Brian Harson's future versus the outcome?
Well, I mean, I think they just need to focus on winning a game. You can't worry about the outside noise in your coach. I mean, they just need to win a game for their coach. And as crazy as all this has been, they won the Missouri game. Now, Missouri lost it more than Auburn won it, but the bottom line is Auburn's the winner because Mizzou and Elijah Drinkwitz, blew the game. He basically, Harsin made a very extreme tactical error, in my opinion, at the end of regulation with 1:30 to go, not attempting a field goal himself. But then Missouri didn't take advantage of it because they stuffed Tank Bigsby. Then they hit a deep ball. And then you got the ball inside the 5. You don't try to score a touchdown. You depend on the kicker. And then at least I will give Drinkwitz a credit for this. They give up a field goal after committing a stupid penalty. It should have been no good. I would have been interested to see what Drinkwitz would have done if he would have depended on the kicker again, if they just needed a field goal to win. I would have hoped not, that they would have just been aggressive and tried to, score a touchdown to win the game. But they were down a field goal. They knew what they needed, a touchdown to win. They were running the football. Pete was trying to win the game for his team, and it was just one of those Jordan-Hare voodoo kind of things. He fumbles through the back of the end zone. Just the everything that had to happen to fall in place perfectly kind of reminded me of the Georgia Auburn game in 2013, the prayer at Jordan-Hare. Everything had to go a certain way for Auburn to win, except for while that was a high-level game between two good teams, this was two teams that didn't look very good. But the bottom line is this. If, and it's a huge if Auburn beats LSU, and we heard Matt Moscona yesterday, 104.5 ESPN, knows as much LSU as anyone we speak with. He was able, in his head, no notes, Scott, to go back all the way to 2000 and just roll through every road trip for LSU to Auburn. As he told us, this was his time growing up as far as a young man, getting started in the radio business, coming through college. This was the rivalry for him because, as he said, his grandfather's was LSU Ole Miss. His father's was probably Alabama LSU. His was Auburn LSU because the games meant so much. But yet the ones on the road at Jordan-Hare for LSU have been crazy. Like even in that terrible team Auburn had in 2012, almost beat LSU. So as he's telling us this, he's not expecting an easy game in Jordan-Hare Stadium. What if Auburn wins the game?
Right.
What if everything falls into place and you Anders Carlson walks it off with a 17-14 win again, or a 20-17 win for Auburn. They find a way to generate some points.
Robbie Ashford has a phenomenal game running the ball, and he's able to.
Regardless,
right?
Auburn's record would be 4-1 and 2-0 in the SEC West. As bad as we've said they've looked, and as the czar Tom Abraham had his unleashed before our show and said Auburn wouldn't win another game. Well, if he's wrong and Auburn wins this game, Auburn's in first place. Brian Harsin, what did we say before the season started? That they had this stretch of games to start the season of 5 in a row at Jordan-Hare Stadium, and that they needed to win 4 or 5 of them for Brian Harsin to feel like he had a chance to come back for a third season. Well, guess what? If you beat LSU, what's your record? 4-1.
Right.
And you're undefeated in the conference, which is the most important thing. And you lost to Penn State, and you learned, and it was a bad loss. Did not perform well, but it still doesn't affect your conference standing. Now, would we still think that Auburn was going to win the SEC West by any stretch? No. Look at the way their schedule sets up. The rest of the West is brutality. And you have to play Georgia.
Yes.
Who just so happens to be the number 1 team in America, and you got to play them on the road. But the bottom line is, what I'm saying is, the only thing that Auburn should be worried about is LSU trying to find a way to beat Brian Kelly's team and be 4-1. And I'll just say this. There will still be people gnashing teeth, but if he's 4-1 and 2-0 in the SEC, it would at least quiet some of the Wolves for now, even though there's huge challenges, going forward.
Well, Ben Leard, former Auburn quarterback.
Speaking of huge challenges,
joined Justin Hokanson on a podcast.
He details that, yes.
And he did. We don't have time to play all 35 minutes.
Right,
it was
we
all
don't.
good.
But it was good. It was good stuff.
Within this podcast, he called Auburn one of the bottom 3 teams in the SEC, Ben Leard did. He said they are right there with Vanderbilt, Missouri, and it's Auburn. The bottom 3 teams in the league. And take a listen to this.
In 1998, in dealing with Jimbo Fisher, Jimbo was the same way. Jimbo, coming off 2 seasons with Damian Craig, as talented as he was, who was ahead of his time, was an unbelievably athletic quarterback. And I remember on hundreds of occasions, whether it be in the sidelines or in the meeting room, hey, if it breaks down, use your legs, make something happen. Well, Damian could do that. I couldn't do it. It was not something that I was blessed with. I needed to be protected, and I needed mentally to be able to beat you. And to not adapt an offense, to me, is a 100% egregious mistake on the coach. And that's where Auburn is at this point. You should suspect, everybody listening, watching, or within earshot of this should know, leading into Saturday's game versus LSU, number one, is athletic enough to do this. They are going to put 8 guys inside the box. And when I say in the box, you're talking about either tackle to tackle or tight end to tight end. So in man on line of scrimmage to in man on line of scrimmage within 4 to 5 yards of depth. So at the linebacker position, maybe a safety walked up slightly behind the linebackers. But there will be 8 defenders at a minimum inside the box. They have zero worries. I'm talking zero about Auburn being able to throw the football to beat them. They may bust a play here and there. You know, they may make a big pass play on a pass interference or whatever. Somebody may bust a coverage. But when it comes down to it, nobody is going to have any concern about Auburn being able to throw the football to beat them or to win the football game. And it's at this point, that is not Robbie Ashford's strength. The area that is most frustrating is that the coaches that are being paid to do a job are not developing a game plan that exhibits his strengths and, most importantly, puts Auburn in position to score points and win games. That is upsetting.
There you go, Ben Leard.
What he's basically saying is Brian Harsin and his staff are all related to Jimbo. It's like the Newhart show. Your brother Daryl and your other brother Daryl. That's basically what he's saying. That they're not adapting to their talent. And I took that as a huge shot at Jimbo, and it made my Sunday. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In other words, Dirtneck is a moron, like I've said the whole time. You know what I'm saying?
But aside from that, aside from Texas A&M,
and be proud. That'll probably be the only time I say that the whole show.
I know.
Tried to cut back on that. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Because some people are sensitive and get irritated.
Well, they don't live here in the state of Alabama either.
No, they don't. But you know, it is what it is. I'm just saying that. But it's 110% true. Jimbo was trying to make Ben Laird be Damian Craig, and he's not. He's a totally different style of quarterback. It's kind of like when Blake Sims leaves and Jake Coker takes over. Even though Jake every now and then would scramble and make a play with his legs and was a tough kid, he was more of a pocket guy though, and they were more of a drop back team with Derrick Henry made of iron running the football than they were a spread team with Blake Sims. They were just a different type of football team, and that and you had to tweak your play calling, so to speak. Same deal with Ben Laird and a Damian Craig. Damian Craig was ahead of his time. He was a dual threat quarterback, an amazing athlete, and ironically, he's coaching at Texas A&M now for Jimbo. But again, it's just one of those things where you have to adapt to your personnel. And that's the point Ben Laird's trying to make. Right. Auburn's coaches aren't doing that. They are trying to run an offense that's designed for TJ Finley and or Zach Calzada, a backup, a drop back, a drop back system where you throw the ball 30, 35 times a game, play action, run the football. Well, now you got Robbie Ashford. He can't do any of that. He's not a drop-back passing quarterback. He's an RPO guy. He's a zone read guy. That's what you should be trying to run and trying to help the offensive line, the running backs, and the quarterback be more successful, and they haven't done that.
If Auburn has to throw the ball 25 times or 30 times to win the game, I know you just looked at me like it's crazy.
No chance in hell.
That's what I want to say.
Right
That's where I want to go.
Zero.
Okay, so 15 times. If Robbie Ashford has to throw the ball 15 times, is that suitable for Saturday?
15 to 20, I would think.
Okay.
And Auburn's got to run for 250 yards and average 5 yards a carry.
250 yards.
250 yards because they have to control the clock. Okay.
Ooh.
That's what they have to do, and they have to make some big plays in the running game and maybe one in the passing game. They've got to find a way to manufacture 24 points, Scott, because this is the modern era of football. It's hard to win games not scoring 20 points.
Whew.
I mean, come
250 yards.
No, look, think about Texas A&M right now. They got the highest paid roster in football, and yes, they do. I mean, even if some folks stick their head in the sand and
pretend it doesn't exist,
and pretend it doesn't exist,
right.
And are basically sports information directors for Texas A&M. I mean, and you know who you are out there. But anyway, I mean. It's just one of those things. You have to understand that you have to score points. And
yes.
And Texas A&M, they've gotten a couple wins. They've won their last 2 games. Credit to them. They did it beating a terrible Miami team, which is now what we've established. Miami is terrible. But they did it by scoring 17 points. And then they scored 23 against a good Arkansas team. But one of those was a defensive touchdown. But going forward, if you're going and look, I will say this for Texas A&M. They have established that they want to try to contend for championships, okay? With the money they've spent on their facilities, with the money they spent on their coaching staff, they have spared no expense. I will say that.
Right.
So that's what their expectations are. Historically, they have not reached that, but that's what they're trying to do, and that is their right, everybody, and you have to admire them for throwing money at it and trying to use all their resources to win. But at the same time, you have to know kind of how to build a championship program. You have to understand it's not just about money. It's about hiring the right people, having the right leadership in place. In many cases, they have not. But at the same time, when you look at the Aggies, again, right now you can't win championships in the SEC with the kind of offense that they're playing. They've got to have a passing game that's better. They've got to be able to sustain offense. You have to be able to score 31 points in a game.
You said 25 a minute ago. Okay, you said 25.
24
probably.
For Auburn in this
Auburn
game
has only scored 24 points. Okay, take away the Mercer game because they were just
42.
Yeah. 24, 12, and 17. Those are the 3-point productions for Auburn in the last 3 games. 24 against San Jose State, 12 against Penn State, 17 against Missouri. What is it? How the heck is Auburn going to get 25 points? I'm looking at what they've done so far, production-wise. Where is 25 points going to come from against an LSU team who defensively, Mississippi State is a much better offensive team than what Auburn is. Much better. And they had a hard time getting to 25.
Oh, I know. It's going to be very difficult for Auburn.
So where is Auburn going to get 25 points at to beat LSU?
That's a great question. I don't see how they're going to do it because I know they have a pretty good running back room, but they don't have a great offensive line. They don't have a great passing offense. They don't have dynamic receivers. I just don't know where the points are going to come from. And it's kind of the same deal with Texas A&M because Max Johnson, I think, is a good quarterback. He's not great. He doesn't have great mobility. So far, they haven't been able to get a lot of production out of Evan Stewart. Now Anaya Smith is out for the year. Prayers to that young man.
Yeah.
He broke his leg, and he may have been their most dynamic player besides Devon Achane. Achane is still there, and he's certainly explosive. But what you have to do, you have to figure out and get the ball to your playmakers. And I just don't see, if again, football has changed to the point where you have to score points to win. Nick Saban had to adapt and do that too. He certainly, when he got to Alabama, was what I call a wide ball coach, tight formations, running the ball, playing to your defense, and one of those things where if a team scored 21 points, you felt like you were going to win the game. Well, that's not the case anymore. You've got to get up in the 30s because a lot of teams can score. A lot of teams are going fast.
Right.
That's the one thing Gus Malzahn brought into the SEC nearly 10 years ago, the up-tempo offense, the no-huddles aspect and stuff like that. It's why Nick Saban said, well, around 2014, I just realized, is this what we want football to be?
Right.
Is this? Are we not going to change the rules? In other words, are the rules being created and slanted toward offense? And they are. So you have to adapt and become more explosive offensively.
Before we get to Lewis real fast, Alabama, they go tempo. What is it point-wise, you think? I mean, well, what's a good point mark if we're using this scenario for Auburn and LSU? What's a good point mark for Alabama?
Alabama's
and
got to get
Arkansas?
in the 30s, man, and that's what I've said about. And you heard Grady the Greek this morning make his prediction, and I agree with it. And
35-17.
Yeah, I think Alabama's got to get up in the 30s. You got to get up in the 30s on the road. They scored 38 and lost against Texas A&M last year because Zach Calzada channeled his inner Brett Favre, and we've never seen it again.
Yeah. All right, Lewis is with us on the phone lines this morning. Good morning, Lewis.
Good morning, fellas. I see you talking about my Tigers.
We are.
I mean, we all like LSU, but we just, like we said, they got. I do think Auburn has a chance to keep the game close, but LSU's going to have to help for that to happen.
Exactly, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to run away from Auburn. I think it's going to run away from Auburn just as quick as it did for the last team we played.
Yeah, I think Auburn. If Auburn comes out and has success, it's going to be a copy of the Missouri game. It looks like this team, Drew, when it's prepared for a first half. It's prepared for a series or two. Last year against Mississippi State, Auburn looked phenomenal in the first half. Second half, I mean, it looked like this team just changed players and everything. I mean, they fell apart. Auburn will look good early. They will look good early.
Well,
after that,
I'll
nothing.
agree with what y'all was saying. Mississippi State, with that, they had the most veteran offensive line and defensive line in the SEC this year, and we manhandled them. We dismantled them. So with Auburn coming in, with all the hiccups they have, I like Auburn to an extent. But I always call it for what it is. Auburn is one of those teams, they always have talent, don't really know what to do with it. So this year is not their year. So they'd be lucky to get 6 wins this year.
Yeah, there are people that'll argue right there, Lewis, that Auburn doesn't have the talent and Brian Harsin doesn't even know what to do to get what he has up to speed.
And with that pass rush that LSU is developing, it's looking like the pass rush we had in 19. And I don't just solely dance on that championship. No, it's not about that. The pass rush we had was awesome. Like, look at Patrick McQueen. Look at what's his name? Devin White. What was the other guy named number 18? He had that weird name. He was off like a few seasons for an injury, and he came back and got drafted and all this other stuff. The pass rush is awesome. And knowing that they lack the ability to throw the ball, it's going to eat them up because they won't be able to run on us for real.
Their offensive line has
I see
definitely
LSU
struggled.
I see LSU winning by double digits in this game, and it won't be close.
Well, as you heard, Grady picked 28-17, so he likes LSU to cover.
I don't even give them 17 points. That's on a good day they get 17 points against us. But that's just my personal opinion. But I'll keep listening. You guys have a good day.
All right, thanks, Lewis.
Well, they didn't score. They were very fortunate to score 17 against Missouri. They didn't do that in regulation. So, I mean, and I definitely think LSU's better defensively. That's why I was saying heavily I would look at the under in the LSU Auburn game.
Yeah, it's what did I say at the beginning of the show?
45.5, I think, almost 46.
Yeah, 45.5.
Yeah,
is the over/under.
Yeah,
I don't know. All right, hey, coming up here in just a minute, we're going to talk some Ole Miss football and some Mississippi State football. Lane Kiffin had an interesting thing to say yesterday when it comes to getting fans into Vaught Hemingway.
And so we're just like,
when you come back out,
I guess just go to the game and see what happens. I mean, there's really no, it's kind of pointless talking about anything else big picture. We'll see how they play Saturday. And
that's Ben Leard still talking about, I told you it was a 35-minute conversation. Here's Lane Kiffin.
You run out the tunnel and it looks like, a high school game playing in a college stadium. You can't let that affect you. I mean, there's psychology to that, obviously. There's a home field advantage for a reason. And, when it goes the other way, you kind of have that feeling, that, man, are we still really playing in a game here? The players have to fight that. So, again, we use that as a learning lesson for our guys. So if that's the case, that's the case. But, I mean, I'm worried about what I can control. I've tried social media in here for 2 years. So, we'll worry about what we can control, and that's getting our players ready to play.
Talking about the lack of fans coming to Ole Miss games.
He definitely wouldn't coach at UCLA.
That's middle school level. That's middle school attendance.
I could say something else, but I won't.
Why not? What's holding you back?
Let's just go on break.
You've talked. You've said so much. Now you won't say anything. Now you won't say anything. Jake Wimberly will be back with us when we return.
Joel Klatt played in that league.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
And a report of a wreck southbound on the Hudson Memorial Bridge headed into Decatur. Decatur PD says there's nothing there. Head southbound on the Parkway just south of 565, a report of metal cylinders in the road. Not finding any problem there. Moore's Mill and Chase had a utility pole broken this morning. Still got restricted traffic there because of repairs. Popeye's tender, juicy, hand-breaded chicken would be perfect for tailgating. Score 5 pieces for $6.99. Popeye's University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeye's Skywatch Traffic Center.
Mercury Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, Mercury Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
One of the best-kept golf secrets in the Tennessee Valley is Cherokee Ridge. Cherokee Ridge truly offers golf at a higher level with immaculate greens set against a spectacular Appalachian backdrop. This 18-hole championship course takes every advantage of rolling hills, whispering woods, lakes, and streams. Interested in becoming a member? Their membership plans feature affordable options for couples, families, and individuals. Book your tee time today, 256-841-4551. Cherokee Ridge. Championship quality, affordable prices.
Here's something to get your tailgating in gear this football season. Brooks & Collier have the perfect selection of outdoor furniture for your dream backyard and the biggest selection of grills from Big Green Egg, Traeger, Blaze, Memphis, and Montalpi. Football season is grilling season. Lucy and Ivy, they're just waiting on something to fall off the grill. And remember, you could qualify for 12 months deferred interest with Synchrony Bank. Brooks & Collier, 813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
Your favorite sports book, BetUS.com, is back for their 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers their members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including college football and the NFL. They've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and their live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. Sign up at BetUS.com and use the promo code WZZN. That's BetUS.com and the promo code WZZN. 10.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your insulation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on 2 services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatewitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
Coming up next, it's the Tom Abraham Show with me, Tom Abraham. Now back to more Talking Ball with Scott and Drew.
Hi, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And we've been talking a lot of Auburn, a lot of Alabama. We talked some Texas A&M. We talked a lot about the league, the bottom half, top half. And right before the break, we did kind of get you warmed up for a little bit of the conversation that we're going to have now, and that is about Mississippi State and Ole Miss, because we let you hear what Lane Kiffin had to say about the fan attendance inside Vaught Hemingway. And less than thrilled, I guess, about the home attendance and everything that he tries to do to get people there. But really, though, when you look at it, the football by both the Rebels and the Bulldogs has been good. And Mississippi State, by the way, for the second straight year, they are favorites over Texas A&M. This time, this one's in Starkville, not in College Station.
Yeah, and they get to cover Coach Prime. I mean, that's never boring. He's on every other commercial you see, and he gets the SWAC a ton of publicity. But our next guest is the program director and afternoon host for ESPN 105.9 in Jackson, Mississippi. Of course, it's afternoon drive from 3 to 6. Always great to be a part of that show. He does a great job as a college football analytic expert for collegefootballhourglass.com. He also votes for the College Football Hall of Fame and for the Bolitnikoff Award. And that is our good friend Jake Wimberly, and he's with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Jake, welcome back to Huntsville. You were Drew and Scott. How are you?
Guys, I'm doing great. How are you guys doing this morning?
We're doing well, and I know it's got to be lively over there at 105.9. Both the teams in Mississippi off to strong starts. Certainly a disappointing ending after a strong start against LSU for Mississippi State, but they've got a huge challenge coming up with Texas A&M this weekend. Texas A&M is a team they beat at College Station a year ago, and we saw Mississippi State be a slight favorite on the road at LSU. That didn't come to pass. They are a favorite at home right now over Texas A&M, and Ole Miss is off to a strong start under Lane Kiffin, and they've got we've talked about it earlier in the week, but I'm not sure that people are still giving enough credit for this matchup with Kentucky and certainly Ole Miss. I was talking to David Johnson on my Recruiting Blitz show about this yesterday, about this game this weekend. The winner of this Ole Miss-Kentucky game is really setting themselves up for what could be a historic season, could you even say? Because again, there'll be a lot of football ahead of them. But again, being undefeated early in October is a significant accomplishment for either one of these programs.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. If you start in Oxford with Ole Miss and Kentucky, it is a big ball game. I don't think anybody thinks that Kentucky is going to challenge Georgia.
Right.
Those two teams meet, or Ole Miss is going to challenge Alabama. But just from the Ole Miss side, and you could flip it from the Kentucky side as well, as if Ole Miss can win this week, they get Vanderbilt the next week on the road. They'll play Auburn, and then they'll travel to Texas A&M and LSU. So they'll have an opportunity, if they can get a win here, to tap that 10-win plateau again, something that they did last year. And when you look at Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, I mean, if you went back-to-back New Year's Six-Day Bowl type deals, Sugar Bowl / Peach Bowl, that's a monumental accomplishment in itself for Ole Miss and for Lane Kiffin. So, it's a contrasting in styles between what Mark does up there at Kentucky, Mark Stoops, and then what Lane Kiffin does. I think it's going to be a heck of a matchup in Oxford on Saturday.
Yeah, and so far right now, we talked about the fact that Lane Kiffin has done a lot through the transfer portal, and this season could have gone one of two ways. He couldn't have gotten everybody on the same page. It could have been a disaster. But right now, it looks like Lane Kiffin is putting the guys that he did get in the transfer portal in the right spots, in the right places to succeed.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, talking with Michael Katz, who's inside that program of the Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal yesterday, he said, hey, look, now this is Jackson Dart's team moving forward, and I think everybody kind of knew that's probably where this was going to go. Ole Miss has really leaned on the run game, but you're right. I mean, he's really kind of put the guys in the transfer portal in the right position. Defensively, they're playing good enough. And again, for the first 4 weeks, it's kind of been a weird year for Ole Miss. It's kind of almost no disrespect to their competition, but almost like an NFL preseason. So yeah. I think a team that's lived on the run, they're going to continue to live on the run. But I would suspect Lane Kiffin, and you guys know Lane Kiffin, that he's probably left some things on the table that he hasn't shown, that I expect him to be a little more explosive, at least with the play calling on Saturday.
Well, and there's no question we would expect that. And if Lane can put together back-to-back 10-win seasons and bring in 20-plus portal guys to transform a program. I know Parrish Alford, we talked about it yesterday on the show. He asked the question about how you transform the pressure now in college coaching. They want it turned around quicker, but if he's able to show you can do this, it almost continues to change the dynamic and the timetables for these guys, because we've seen what Nick Saban's done. He's transformed the salary structure and what people at least that think they're elite, want to have their program accomplished. Kirby Smart has proven that he can do it at Georgia, and now if Lane proves that you can transform a program from year to year via the portal, it's just what it's doing is they're all Saban guys, but it's continuing to redefine what's expected, and the reason guys like Chad Morris and potentially now Brian Harsin don't even get a third season, Jake.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right. And, I said this, and I know a lot of people have talked about this, going into this year with the transfer portal, we were going to see a lot of different scenarios on how it works or doesn't work. And, USC, of course, and LSU loaded up with the transfer portal. I don't think any of us expect those teams to do that really moving forward. They'll cherry pick. They had to do that to kind of bolster those rosters. But if Lane Kiffin can pull this thing off and get to another New Year's Six-Day Bowl type deal through the transfer portal, that's just another recruiting coup that he can say, hey, look, guys, we do this thing a little different here. We not necessarily can recruit with the Alabamas and Georgias of the world, but we can take, guys out of the transfer portal and we can be just as competitive as they can. It's just a different route to success. And with Lane Kiffin, he's been open about it. He's talked about, kind of like an NFL model of free agency. So, if he can do that this year, then that bodes well for him at Ole Miss moving forward.
And then, Jake, your thoughts with this Texas A&M Mississippi State matchup. They were able to win in College Station, and sometimes styles make fights. It seems as though Mike Leach gives Jimbo some problems. How do you see this matchup? Mississippi State's a very experienced team. I think they felt like they let one get away in Baton Rouge, but how do you see this? Because Texas A&M has had a lot of issues offensively. They did make the quarterback change, but still seem to lack explosiveness. And now Anaya Smith out for the year.
Yeah, I like Mississippi State's matchup in this ball game, but they've got to play it 4 quarters. You referenced the LSU game, just way too many drops, a muff punt in the second half, way too many mental mistakes, missed it on 4th down a couple times on some tries, their conversions. But I like the matchup, and when you look at Texas A&M, they're giving up right at 12 points a game. But guys, they're not getting any pressure on the quarterback. Only 6 sacks this year so far. They've only got 1 fumble recovery and 1 interception. So not a very opportunistic defense up to this point. And, you can expect probably Texas A&M, with DJ Durkin, who's familiar with Mississippi State, what Mike Leach does, to probably try to cover some things, disguise some things. But, Mississippi State, basically what they've got to do is just do what they do. It's just pitch and catch now with Will Rogers in year 3. Lean on that run game. Mike Leach has done a good job of that this year, and they've got to convert, those third and short type deals. But I like Mississippi State's chances in this game. I think both games in Starkville and Oxford are 4-quarter ball games, and I like both Mississippi teams' chances this weekend.
What happened to Mississippi State in the second half against LSU?
Way too many drops, way too many middle errors, and then, of course, they really didn't adjust. Jaden Daniels, look, you got to give Brian Kelly credit. They found something there with Jaden Daniels on the edge, where they could really kind of expose Mississippi State. Mississippi State in the second level of defense, their linebackers are good linebackers, but they're not great. They don't have great speed side to side, and I think Mississippi State got kind of caught there, not being able to really kind of protect Daniels. So it was kind of to me, it was a collective of things, not being able to defend Daniels on the edge, dropping way too many passes, and then of course, some pass protection breakdowns. Really, the whole thing just kind of went south after the muff punt there in the third quarter or late in the second quarter. Just way too many mental errors, and of course, as you guys know, you can't do that in the SEC.
Well, all the rumors and the reports out there. We do expect Brian Harsin's time to be short at Auburn. They've already started speculation about Deion Sanders at Jackson State, and there's going to be a lot of speculation about jobs for him with the job that he's done with that program in the SWAC. I mean, you cover him. You're close to that program. What do you think Deion's mindset is about his next move? Do you think he's got his eyes on a move up, or do you think he's more focused on continuing to enhance the SWAC, enhance Jackson State, and it's going to have to be the perfect opportunity?
That's the million-dollar question that we talk about a lot with Deion Sanders is what is next. Deion is doing all the right things at Jackson State. I mean, Jackson State, obviously a historic HBCU here in the Metro City, but never has had this kind of publicity. I mean, anytime all you got to do is scroll through Instagram, and Deion's got thousands and thousands of hits on every video that he puts out. It's all about Jackson State. His son, Shedeur Sanders, is putting up a great stat line this year. He'll likely be a finalist for the Connolly Trophy, which is awarded to the top college player in the state of Mississippi every year through all the universities in the state. But we really just don't know. I mean, if you listen to him, I mean, he's on a mission to do something that's never been done in the HBCUs and to build that type of program. But you would have to think that, I mean, knowing, Deion, at least, from a 10,000-foot view and the way these coaches are, they want to go compete and they want to go do something different. So, I don't know if that means this year. I don't know if it means next year. I'm sure it's got to be the right fit. You guys know that Auburn program way better than I do, but just from, again, 10,000 feet, I don't know that he would mesh with those boosters and those people over there because, when you get Deion, you get a big ego and you get a big heart and you get a guy who's going to do things his way. So I would expect at some point he's going to get an opportunity. I don't know if it's this year or next year, but what he's doing right now in the city of Jackson is unremarked. I mean, it's amazing what he's doing, and to see, him be able to fill up a stadium that's never been full, to the passion of the fan base, it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, it is, and it is an interesting development because every job that comes open now, whether it be Georgia Tech, Auburn one's not even open yet, and they're still putting him on that list. But so far this year, you look at what he's done at Jackson State, and I thought it was interesting too how not even football related, how he came out and handled the water crisis there in Jackson, Mississippi.
Oh, yeah, Deion has been very upfront and, kind of out in front since he's been here about community. It's no secret. I mean, Jackson has had a crime issue. It has had, a murder rate spike like a lot of big cities over the last couple of years. He's been very open about that, saying, hey, look, guys, we need to kind of turn this thing around. He was very out in front about the water issue in Jackson. So, Deion has been not just a football guy. He's very open about player development and about getting guys, not only on to the next level in the NFL, but also, creating a culture that, helps guys move forward with their life, be it, in business or family. So, I mean, he is way more than just primetime, the football player, primetime, the guy you see, on a commercial. I mean, he's been out in front in the community here.
Well, and finally, Jake, I've got to ask you because to me, I think, as we said, Ole Miss, Kentucky, is kind of under the radar, but is one of the premier matchups, if not the premier one, this week in the SEC. But the showcase game for CBS is Alabama-Arkansas. Arkansas, disappointing loss in Jerry World, but what kind of chance do you give them against Alabama in Fayetteville?
I think it'll be a close game for a little while, but Alabama just too much talent. If Alabama can bottle up KJ Jefferson a little bit, Alabama's going to make plays against the secondary that is not that good in Arkansas. So, again, up there, it's probably going to be close for a little while, but I like Alabama to kind of run away with it. Matter of fact, just talking to several guys on the Vegas side, that line being set that high, a lot of guys are expecting that line that Alabama could actually pop that line and go north of 20 by the end of the game.
Oh, wow. So Jake was a little bit of intel from the Sharps in Vegas for us here. Well, great stuff, Jake. We always appreciate the conversation, talking some Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Both have big games within the state of Mississippi this week. Big week for your state and in the SEC. But let everybody know how to follow you and listen to your program and also read your stuff. We appreciate it.
Yeah, you can go over to cfbhourglass.com. I'll put weekly picks out each and every week. 7 college, 3 NFL, and, of course, we're always talking Vegas lines and such because of the sports gaming here we do in the state of Mississippi. On Twitter, at Jake Wim, and just stream us on the zone1059.com.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Jake.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
We've got to get a break in. When we come back, your tomorrow's headlines will wrap up our 2-hour extravaganza.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
And a report of a wreck southbound on the Hudson Memorial Bridge headed into Decatur. Decatur PD says there's nothing there. Head southbound on the parkway just south of 565, a report of metal cylinders in the road. Not finding any problem there. Moore's Mill and Chase had a utility pole broken this morning. Still got restricted traffic there because of repairs. Popeye's tender, juicy, hand-breaded chicken would be perfect for tailgating. Score 5 pieces for $6.99. Popeye's University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeye's Skywatch Traffic Center.
I'm excited about fall, but I'm even more excited about the falling prices at Kohl's. I went to their friends and family sale, and not only did I save an extra 20%, I also found sweatshirts and sweatpants for under $19, cute harvest table decor for 40% off, and great fall styles starting at $23.99. Plus, I earned Kohl's Cash. So if you want more style and more savings this season, get to Kohl's. Select styles, 20% offer ends October 2nd. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Attorney Tommy Sinyard on behalf of Sinyard Law, and again proud to be a sponsor of All Things Football here on ESPN Radio. My son Bart and I started our own law firm July 1 and are very proud and excited to be bringing you our 50 years of collective national award-winning injury trial law experience. Check us out on the web, SinyardLaw.com.
Sinyard Law, nationally recognized, locally respected.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead ran away and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
Hey Dad, cool if I change this?
They may not get each other's music, but they can both get a COVID-19 booster shot. Because the CDC recommends booster shots for people 12 years and older after completion of a primary series. Schedule an appointment as soon as you are eligible. Sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer.
The
you know that your car or truck or SUV may be worth up to 30 or 40% more than it was last year? It's true. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and now is the perfect time to trade in, trade up to a gold certified or blue certified pre-owned car, truck, SUV, or crossover. While our new vehicle inventory continues to build back, our Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned vehicles are nearing 100 models to choose from, and a good variety too. Woody Anderson Ford Gold certified vehicles are 6 years or younger with less than 80,000 miles and have passed 172-point inspection by factory certified technicians. They have a 14-day, 1,000-mile money-back guarantee, a great comprehensive limited warranty, 24-hour roadside assistance, and go home with full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. Get nearly a new ride and none of the worries. Woody Anderson Ford, Jordan Spartman. Hope to see you soon.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Hold your block until the whistle blows.
From SEC Media Days to the National Championship game.
This was a great team win.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tell me if you didn't see this one coming when it comes to headlines today. The Alabama High School Athletic Association.
The Oakwood Rule.
Has, yes, we just call it the Oakwood Rule because
That's what I called it yesterday.
Yep, they're going to allow schools to request a religious accommodation during championship play when certain conditions are met. It'll eliminate such situations that we had last year with Oakwood Academy, a Seventh-day Adventist school not being able to play in a regional game because of their religious accommodations. So this will go into effect in the 2023-2024 school year, the calendar year. So next year it'll go into effect. But yeah, tell me you didn't see that one coming. Yeah. The other one. So we got a 12-team playoff, right? We just don't know when it's going to start. We don't know exactly when it's going to start. So these same individuals that could not come together to decide on when or how many teams to have in a playoff. Remember, it was the presidents of the universities that signed off on a 12-team playoff, not the commissioners group. They are now in charge of trying to figure out how to get this all in place and everything. And one of the models that they've come up with, not for playoffs, but is they've got to figure out how to get all of the games in plus the playoffs. So they want to. One of the scenarios they've come up with, Drew, is they want to push the start of the regular season up a week, so that would create your conference championship games would kick off on Thanksgiving week.
So everything would move up, like it would start sooner.
Yeah, so they would start on week 0. Everybody would start on week 0.
Why do they call it that?
Well, that's what they call it. That's what we're relating it to. So instead of being week 1, everybody would start on week 0. And so that means your rivalry games, like your Alabama and Auburn, would be a week before Thanksgiving, which, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, before the SEC expanded, and that was when Alabama and Auburn would play their rivalry games anyway, right? Because they would always have a bye week before the SEC championship game if they were in it.
Yeah, they did.
So, but yeah, they'd move. They want to move everything up a week to get everything in.
Well,
Greg Sankey said that's one of the possibilities that they're discussing. They're going to October 20th, circle October 20th. That's when they're going to meet in Chicago, and that's where they're going to really start hammering things out. They've been meeting, I believe, in Texas, in Arlington the past few days to try to discuss some of this stuff. Nothing's come out of it. Surprise, surprise. But that's what they're talking about.
And what I'm talking about, too, is the Braves being tied with the Mets.
Yes,
the Braves
won last night. Mets lost last night.
The Mets lose 97-58. The Braves have one game left with the Washington Nationals. The Mets have one game left with the Marlins, and then here we go, 4 games in Atlanta, and it's going to go a long way into deciding this division.
There are some people that think they should move that game up to start on Thursday. Like they should play Wednesday because of the weather, because of the importance that is needed, that they should explore starting this game on Thursday, this series on Thursday, so that they could at least guarantee probably get 2 games in this series if the bad weather does matriculate as if from Hurricane Ian coming up in the south of Florida, coming up there off the coast. So you are right. Mets, and so it's a big one. It all comes down to this, and this is what we thought we were going to get last year in the NL East. Braves and Mets. Braves run away from it and run away with it. This is the series, and this is the outcome that we all thought we would get.
Yeah, we did, and let me correct myself. It's a 3-game series between the Mets and the Braves, but because after today, there's only 6 games left in the regular season. You will have a 3-game series for the Braves with the Mets at home, and then they'll finish with 3 games at home against the Marlins. So Atlanta at least has all their games at home with a shot to win this division. It's been, a situation where they haven't been able to quite get over the hump and catch the Mets and get and pull away from them. But now they've got their pitching set up. Jake Odorizzi will pitch against the Nats tonight.
Yeah.
But they will have Kyle Wright. They will have Max Fried. They will have their dudes lined up with a chance to finally pass the Mets and still win 100 games and win this division. So some huge baseball coming up for the Atlanta Braves trying to win the division.